Blessings to you, saints of God. Pastor Brooks here. I hope that you are enjoying this absolutely glorious Saturday, the calm after the windstorm of yesterday. Wanted to put two things before us really quick concerning tomorrow's service. One is, as we know, Zeke Garner went to be with the Lord a little over a week ago. The Garners are family of the Boomershines. We've been praying for Zeke, and the Lord saw fit to rather than healing him, to take him home and to glorify him. And so we do rejoice even amidst the grief of that. So there are going to be, of course, expenses associated with this. Specifically, they mentioned for not just the funeral, but flights. They live in New Zealand, and so a lot of moving parts for the two memorial services that they're doing. So all that to say, Pilgrim Hill is going to make a donation to the Garners, as a blessing for them to use as they see fit for either of those things. And also, I wanted to give us an opportunity to individually add on to that blessing to the Garners if you would like. So there'll be that nut of what Pilgrim Hill is doing. But if you want to add on, I'm going to have this box at the service yesterday in the lobby, or tomorrow in the lobby. And if you feel so led, feel free to bring an extra offering to put specifically for that, and everything that goes in this box will go directly to them. So that's what that's there for. And also, our hymn of the month for March is The Day is Past and Gone, as I announced earlier this week. This is one that we've sung before and have started to get in our bones more and to know. And it can feel strange to sing a song in the Lord's Day service about the imminency of our death and thinking on these things. As we've been discussing Lent, we know that this is a fitting season to do that. And even the Psalms say, teach me to number my days that I may gain a heart of wisdom. And so it is an appropriate thing to do for Christians to ponder these things. But I was reading in A Quest for Godliness, the book that we talked about a little bit on Wednesday by J.I. Packer. And he opens the book by talking about 7 specific ways the Puritans ministered to him. And in light of us singing The Day is Past and Gone over the month of March, I wanted to read some of Packer's words about what specifically encouraged him from the Puritans. Because one of the 7 is this very thing, thinking about his own mortality. And so I'll just read this section. 5th, so he's in a list of 7, this is number 5. 5th, the Puritans have taught me to see and feel the transitoriness of this life, to think of it, with all its richness, as essentially the gymnasium and dressing room where we are prepared for heaven, and to regard readiness to die as the first step in learning to live. Here again is a historic Christian emphasis, patristic, medieval, reformational, Puritan, evangelical, with which the Protestantism that I know has largely lost touch. So, namely, people don't talk about these things anymore. The Puritans experienced systematic persecution for their faith. What we today think of as the comforts of home were unknown to them. Their medicine and surgery were rudimentary. They had no aspirins, tranquilizers, sleeping tablets, or antidepressant pills, just as they had no social security or insurance. In a world in which more than half the adult population died young, and more than half the children born died in infancy, disease, distress, discomfort, pain, and death were their constant companions. They would have been lost had they not kept their eyes on heaven and known themselves as pilgrims traveling home to the celestial city. Dr. Johnson is credited with the remark that when a man knows he is going to be hanged in a fortnight, it concentrates his mind wonderfully. And in the same way, the Puritans' awareness that in the midst of life we are in death just one step from eternity gave them a deep seriousness, calm yet passionate, with regard to the business of living that Christians in today's opulent, mollycoddled, and earthbound Western world rarely manage to match. Few of us, I think, live daily on the edge of eternity in the conscious way that the Puritans did. and we lose out as a result. For the extraordinary vivacity, even hilarity, yes, hilarity, you will find in the sources, with which the Puritans lived stemmed directly, I believe, from the unflinching, matter-of-fact realism with which they prepared themselves for death, so as to always be found, as it were, packed up and ready to go. Reckoning with death brought appreciation of each day's continued life, and the knowledge that God would eventually decide without consulting them when their work on earth was done brought energy for the work itself, while they were still being given time to get on with it. As I move through my own 7th decade, in better health than can possibly last, I am more glad than I can say for what Puritans like Bunyan and Baxter have taught me about dying. I needed it, and the preachers I hear these days never get to it, and modern Christian writers seem quite clueless about it, save for C.S. Lewis and Charles William, whose insight on this, as on so much else, is surely unique in the 20th century. And what's interesting is obviously Packer now has gone to be with the Lord. And the sobriety and even joy with which he could look that directly in the eyes, and how that far from leading to a moroseness or a despairing outlook, it was stabilizing, steadying, and really put wind in the sails for the work that is at hand. This one line in particular I highlighted, being a preacher. He said, I needed it, namely, I needed to have the reality of death brought to me. I needed it. And the preachers I hear these days never get to it. And so may that not be us. May we be those Christians who think about our death, knowing right on the other side we'll be immediately with the Lord. But may that give us the sufficient sobriety that is due that, and may it make us a people of incredible gratitude and productivity for the time that we do have. And so it's in that spirit that I would commend us to sing out, "The day is past and gone," and let it do that sanctifying work in us. Blessings on you guys.